Line number 13 to 18. And when we were children, staying at the Archduke's, my cousin's, he took me out on a sled. And I was frightened. He said, Marie, Marie, hold on tight. And down we went. In the mountains, there you feel free. I read, much of the night, and go south in the winter. Explanation. The first two lines, and when we were children, staying at the Archduke's, my cousin's, he took me out on a sled, introduce the theme of memory and nostalgia. The narrator recalls a childhood memory of riding on a sled with their cousin, which is a common and relatable experience. The mention of the Archduke suggests a setting of privilege and luxury, which is contrasted with the later themes of decay and loss. The line, and I was frightened. He said, Marie, Marie, hold on tight. And down we went, introduces a sense of danger and risk-taking. The narrator is frightened, but their cousin reassures them and they both go down the hill on the sled. This image suggests a sense of liberation and freedom, as they are able to let go and experience the thrill of the moment. The following line, in the mountains, there you feel free, reinforces the idea of freedom and liberation. The mountains are often associated with nature and the outdoors, and in this context, they represent a space where one can escape the constraints of society and experience a sense of freedom. The final line, I read, much of the night, and go south in the winter, introduces the theme of isolation and loneliness. The narrator spends much of the night reading, suggesting a sense of detachment from the world around them. The decision to go south in the winter suggests a desire to escape, but also a sense of displacement and dislocation. Line number 19 to 23. What are the roots that clutch, what branches grow out of this stony rubbish? Son of man. You cannot say, or guess, for you know only. A heap of broken images, where the sun beats. And the dead tree gives no shelter, the cricket no relief. Explanation. The opening lines of T.S. Eliot's poem, The Wasteland, are a powerful portrayal of a desolate and barren landscape, where life struggles to exist. The speaker addresses the Son of Man, a biblical reference to humanity, and questions the very foundations of existence. The phrase, roots that clutch, suggests that life is struggling to hold on to something in order to survive. It implies a sense of desperation and struggle, as if life is clinging to the barest of resources to maintain its existence. The phrase, stony rubbish, further emphasizes the bleak and barren landscape, with stony suggesting a lack of fertility and rubbish suggesting that what little growth there may have been has been destroyed or discarded. The image of a barren landscape conveys a sense of hopelessness and despair, as if there is no possibility of growth or renewal. The speaker notes that the Son of Man cannot say, or guess, indicating a lack of understanding or explanation for the state of the world. The phrase, heap of broken images, suggests fragmentation and disarray, as if the world is composed of scattered and disconnected pieces. This may also suggest that the Son of Man is unable to form a coherent understanding of the world, as everything seems to be in disarray. The image of the dead tree and the cricket further emphasize the sense of lifelessness and despair. The dead tree, which provides no shelter, suggests a lack of sustenance or protection, while the cricket, which provides no relief, suggests that even the smallest creatures are struggling to survive. Line number 24 to 27. And the dry stone no sound of water. Only. There is shadow under this red rock. Come in under the shadow of this red rock. And I will show you something different from either. Explanation. Here, the speaker invites the listener to come into the shadow of a red rock, promising to show them something different from what they have seen before. The first line, and the dry stone no sound of water, reinforces the sense of desolation and barrenness that was present in the previous lines. The absence of water suggests a lack of life and vitality, further emphasizing the bleakness of the landscape. The speaker then invites the listener to come in under the shadow of a red rock, which offers a sense of shelter and protection. The invitation is both an offer of solace and a command, with the repetition of, come in under the shadow of this red rock, emphasizing the urgency of the speaker's desire to provide refuge. The phrase, and I will show you something different from either, suggests that the speaker has something new and unique to offer the listener. The sense of difference is emphasized by the repetition of the word, different, which creates a contrast between the desolate landscape that has been described thus far and the promise of something new and unexpected. The phrase, deeper, but not wider, which comes after the lines mentioned in the question, suggests that the speaker's offer is not a grand or sweeping one, but rather something more subtle and nuanced. It suggests that the listener may need to look beyond the surface in order to truly understand what is being offered. Line number 28 to 34. Your shadow at morning striding behind you. Or your shadow at evening rising to meet you. I will show you fear in a handful of dust. Frisch wet der Wind. Der Heimat zu. Mein Ear ist kind. Wo willst du? Explanation. The first two lines refer to the idea of a person's shadow, which is a familiar and seemingly innocuous image. However, the lines suggest that even the most basic and familiar elements of life can be unsettling, as the shadow can be interpreted as a metaphor for the darker, subconscious aspects of the self. The mention of the shadow, striding behind you, and rising to meet you, creates a sense of unease and suggests that these darker aspects are always present, even when they are not immediately visible. The next two lines are written in German and translate to, "Fresh blows the wind to the homeland, my Irish child, where do you tarry?" This brief interlude adds to the sense of dislocation and fragmentation in the poem, as it interrupts the flow of the English language and introduces a new cultural and linguistic element. The final line of the poem, "I will show you fear in a handful of dust," is a powerful image that suggests that even the most mundane and seemingly insignificant things can be imbued with a sense of fear and dread. The phrase, "handful of dust," is a biblical reference to mortality and the transience of life, and suggests that the fear Eliot is referring to is a fear of our own mortality and the inevitable decay of all things. Line number 35 to 42. You gave me hyacinths first a year ago. They called me the hyacinth girl. Single quote. Yet when we came back, late, from the hyacinth garden, your arms full, and your hair wet, I could not speak, and my eyes failed, I was neither living nor dead, and I knew nothing. Looking into the heart of light, the silence. Ode, und Leer das Meer. Explanation. They are part of a conversation between two speakers, one of whom is reminiscing about receiving hyacinths from the other a year earlier. The reference to the hyacinth girl suggests that the gift of the flowers was a significant moment in the speaker's life, and may be connected to a past relationship or romantic encounter. The reference to the hyacinth garden implies a sense of longing or desire, as if the garden represents a place of beauty and fulfillment that is now lost. The speaker's memory of returning from the garden with wet hair and arms full suggests that they have experienced some kind of pleasure or fulfillment, but the sense of silence and emptiness that follows suggests that this moment was ultimately fleeting and transitory. The line, "looking into the heart of light, the silence," suggests that the speaker has encountered a moment of profound transcendence or spiritual insight. The image of light suggests a sense of clarity and understanding, while the silence implies a sense of peace and stillness. However, this moment is also characterized by a sense of emptiness and disorientation, as the speaker feels neither living nor dead, and knows nothing. The final line, Ode, und Leer das Meer, is a German phrase that translates to desolate and empty the sea. This line echoes the sense of emptiness and disorientation that pervades the rest of the passage, and suggests that the sea, like the speaker, is devoid of meaning or purpose. Overall, these lines convey a sense of nostalgia, longing, and a profound sense of emptiness and disorientation. The image of the hyacinth girl in the hyacinth garden suggests a lost moment of beauty and fulfillment, while the sense of emptiness and disorientation that follows suggests that this moment was ultimately fleeting and transitory. The final line emphasizes the sense of desolation and emptiness, and suggests that the speaker is adrift in a sea of meaninglessness and despair.